Welcome to Black Expertise, where we amplify the voices, stories, and strategies shaping the future of Black excellence. Today's conversation is one that so many of us don't even realize we need. We're talking about burnout, emotional overload, and what it really looks like to come back home to yourself. Because in a world where rest is treated like a luxury and overworking is worn like a badge of honor, today's guest is rewriting that narrative. I'm joined by the incredible Cherelle Jeudy, founder of Happi Life Health, who is helping Black women heal, reset, and prioritize their well being without guilt or apology. With nearly a decade of experience in wellness strategy and coaching, she's built tools, programs, and a community that meets women exactly where they are, from survival mode to thriving. This is not just about wellness, this is about transformation. Welcome, Cherelle Jeudy. Let's get
Thank
into it.
you. Thank you for having me, Renee. This is
Of course.
always a pleasure to have conversations with you.
Yes, yes, because it's needed, and it gives us
Mhm.
a chance to take a second, recalibrate what we're doing, where we're at, and making sure we're on track because
Yes.
we're our first customer. So let me
Yes.
get into the origin story of Cherelle. Take us back, like what was happening in your life that led you to create Happi Life Health?
So my story actually began many, many moons ago. My mother was actually, she's the inspiration behind Happy Life Health. So when she was living, she had different ailments, right? She just was like, she had so many different things she was dealing with, and the doctors didn't have an answer for her. And every time she would go to the doctor, she would, tell them the symptoms that she was having, and they would just prescribe medication to help with that symptom. But what they did not calculate was medicine that they're giving her has side effects.
Mm,
And then, she would mention the side effects to the doctor, and they would give her more medicine to deal with the side effects. So it was like she was taking a cocktail of medication. I was just like, Mom, this is too much.
yeah.
Let me research some natural remedies, because you don't have to take, you know, pills for everything. Like some of the stuff you could probably figure out how to take care of on your own. So she was like, yeah, do that for me. And that's when really that journey has started for me. It was with her, helping her. And I just was so like in love with that content, because I started applying it to my own life, and applying it to myself, and I was getting results. And then I was sharing it with other people, and they were like, oh, they wanted to hear more, right? So
Mm,
that's really where it started. And I was like, oh, I want to help more people, like, my mom. And then, when she passed away, that vision, that desire just grew.
mm.
um, so that's really where the root of Happy Life Health originated.
Wow. So I remember when we first met, you were doing a lot with the essential oils. Was
Mhm.
that your first go to, or just
Yeah. I was introduced, and I hate to call it that, but it kind of is like a cult, like those essential oil companies, right? So
yeah.
I was like sharing information or asking about information, and then someone reached out to me
Mhm,
and told me about the essential oils. And I was actually approached by multiple people from different companies, and it
mhm.
was just so funny just to see how passionate they were. And I was like, I drank the Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
Not saying anything about the essential oils at all, but the essential oils was definitely the root of, me coming to like more natural remedies and solutions to support the body. And I
Mhm.
still use them to this day. I'm not with a company, but I will still sing the praises of essential oils to the rooftop, because they are very, very impactful for sure. because you
Yeah.
can use them in so many different ways. You can use them in a diffuser and just, smell it, and then your body gets the benefit just from, smelling it, like just coming into contact that way. You can apply it on the body, you can create products with them. Some essential oils you can even digest, and you can get, you know, benefits that way as well. So, yeah, that definitely was the beginning. I even shared it with my mom, who used it, and they helped her wean her off of some of her medication, not all of them, of course, but some of them, she was able to not, use them and just use the
Mhm.
essential oils. Hmm.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the problems, I guess, that Happy Life, the whole lifestyle movement, even brings to our audience members. Because essential oil is just a portion of it that can help with burnout and all overwhelm and anxiety. Like I'm
Oh yeah.
lately, I've been just having a lot on my plate, and I'm trying to find my center. In incorporating essential oils will probably help with that. Taking a
For
moment.
sure.
I just journaled today, like I realized a power hour that I need to apply to my life to just have a time set for myself, um, incorporating meditation and prayer and
Hmm.
journaling and maybe even watching something on YouTube that's inspiring. But um, the problems that Happy Life Health solves, let's talk about burnout. I think that's one of your main focuses for your
Yeah.
audience. Who are you targeting? And yeah.
My target audience. So Happy Life, the vision of Happy Life Health has evolved, is evolving, right? It's
Mhm.
still um it's really still trying to like reach that right audience, but my audience is definitely women between the ages of 35, 55, because those are the typical ages. I know that some of us are a little older, some of us are a little younger, or older, younger.
Right,
Motherhood, right? Caregiving, all that good stuff.
right, right.
We're
Emotional.
balancing.
Mhm.
We're balancing careers. We're balancing caregiving, motherhood. Some of us are married, so we're trying to, manage that relationship.
Mhm.
Not to mention our friend groups, our church groups, we just got our hands in so many different things,
Yeah.
and we don't always take that time out to take care of ourselves because we're trying to take care of everyone else around us. And that's really who I'm speaking to, particularly Black women. Of course, anybody, but
Mhm.
specifically Black women, because we just have unique challenges that other groups don't necessarily have to think about as much as we do, right? So that's really who I target, and the vision is really to support the wellness, the holistic wellness of us, right?
Mhm.
But where I am finding my focus is more around stress management, burnout recovery, burnout prevention if possible, right? And then if you're in that stage, burnout recovery, what that looks like. Because yeah, a lot of us I feel are burnt out. A lot of us are stressed out, and we're just trying to continue on, and
Right.
our bodies are screaming like, no, I need you to sit down, I need you to rest, I need you to not do this. But
Mhm.
it's hard for us to say no. Like, I know, like, that was a big thing, right? For us to say, oh, no is a complete sentence. And we were saying that and screaming that for to the rooftops, but most of us weren't taking that to heart.
Mhm.
And that's really the message that I'm finding myself shouting right now. Like, okay, we need to rest. And I know that's another thing we hear: rest. Black women rest. The 98% I hear it, but are we really doing that? And if we're gonna follow science, and look at the data that's out there, we're not listening to ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's really just like, okay, just slow down,
Mhm. Mhm.
pause,
Yeah.
assess, and really think about where you are right now.
Yeah.
And then after you're honest with yourself, what do I need to do to get back on track?
Right.
And I'm raising my hand to this because like I said, we're good at saying it, but we're not always good at taking our own advice.
Right. Right. And you got to really pause to, just like you said, answer at least the last question, which is like action that you need to take. But it really requires you to really be still
Hmm.
and take that moment every day. It's not even like a self-care treat at the end of the week. It has to be every day just to recalibrate, to really
Yeah.
realize, you can't get it all done in one day. Um,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, and I
And
would
then
no, go ahead, go
And
ahead.
I wanted to add, even being honest with ourselves of things that we need to let go, even if it's for a season. Like
Mm,
some things, you're not going to be able to let go
yeah.
because you're taking care of your family, you're taking
Mhm,
care of your parents or whoever you're in, is in,
yeah.
in your care, right? Whatever you're responsible for. But there's some things that we're taking on that I feel like we don't need.
Hmm.
And we have to learn how to say no to things. Like seriously, like I don't have the capacity to do this. My body needs to rest. And then you got to also consider, right? And we talked about this offline, but what is going on biologically with us in this age range? Like we just talked about perimenopause, menopause. Like a lot
Hmm.
of us are going through this stage, right?
Right.
And we do need to have more conversations around this because we have to take care of ourselves. We
Right.
can't just say, oh, I'm feeling this way and then not do anything about it. Right. So,
I'm just gonna take this moment to just say, if this conversation is hitting home for you at this moment, I want you to know you don't have to figure this out alone. Inside Black Expertise Community, we're building a space where wellness, business, and personal growth come together. Workshops, conversations like this one, tools, and real support. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start rebuilding your life with intention, this is your invitation to join us in Happy Life here on Black Expertise. So thank you. Uh, my next question and segment is, what makes Happy Life Health different from traditional wellness programs?
what makes us different is we do take into account the individual. And, it's great to give blanket advice, but at the end of the day, everyone is different. Everyone's journey is different. So, what we do is we like to take that time individually to get to know the person and find a course of action that will really support them in their journey. Because, one burnout or stress, whatever, it can develop differently in different people. It shows up differently. So, like, what do you need in
Yeah,
this moment? That's really what we want to hone in on because just like the our name says, we really want people to not just survive, right? We want to have a good life experience. We want to have a good life experience. We want to just be all that we can be and feel good at the end of the
yeah,
day, and not depleted and resentful and bitter. Like I don't want that for any of us. So that's really what I Happy Life is focused on, is just seeing happier women, just happier women.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, what would you say the first three steps someone should take on that healing journey? Like, I think even this platform that you and I are collaborating on and building this community, I think that, in my opinion, would be the first step. Like, join this online community, download Cherelle's workbook. There's guides and things. Like, I'm just trying to figure out in practice with Happy Life, like, what does that look like if you were to try to figure out or help me figure out what I need to work on? Because we're never going to be perfect. Even once we get through that, over that hurdle, there's going to be another new thing that we need to kind of reassess. So, what does that
Hmm.
look like if we were to work with you one on one or join your Happy Life community?
The first step is really being honest with yourself and assessing what it is that is getting in your way from a happy life. Like, what is it that you're dealing with right now and at this moment that is keeping you from really realizing your own goals, your,
Mhm.
your wellness goals. That's the first thing, is naming what it is. And then once you figure out what that is, um, put it into, like, start talking about solutions. Like, what can I do? Even if it's just like one lifestyle change,
Mhm.
what can I do to improve this?
Right.
Maybe it's, putting the phone down at 8 o'clock and going to bed at a good time, right? Maybe
Mhm.
it's, drinking more water or exercise. But it could be, ending toxic relationships. It could be, um, what's another example? Maybe it's getting rid, trying to find a new career. Like, it really is like an individual thing, but you just have
Mhm.
to be honest about what the root of the problem is. That root is very important. So that's what we spend time talking about, individually. And then the third step is to find a community or accountability partner that's going
Mhm.
to keep you accountable. So that would be my three steps, because the journey is, you can do it by yourself, but I always
Yeah.
say two are better than one.
Yeah.
So, or more, if you can find a friend group that's really you're gonna
Right.
support one another. Yeah.
Right.
Or
And they
community.
they're finding it here with us
Yes,
because
yes,
we're
yes.
building that platform for people, women in particular, that for some reason, why do we feel guilty to take this time to rest and to
We're
break?
taught to do that.
Right.
It's
That's
really
so true.
ingrained in us from little, right? Especially in our community. It is ingrained in us to not rest. Like,
Mm,
we get up, we're just like, we see our mothers do it, we saw our grandmothers do it. They
mm,
did what they needed to do to make sure that things were accomplished,
mhm.
whatever
But
that looked
times
like.
have changed. Times have changed. We don't have to
Yeah,
wake up with the chickens. We got robots and things. No, I don't know. But you're
you're
right.
right though.
And
You're absolutely right.
that leads to the next question. How do we shift from doing everything for everyone to actually prioritizing ourselves and building that wholeness? And what does wholeness look like and really mean for you to you? You know?
Well, the first step is to make the decision to do it. You
Mm,
just got to make that choice. I heard you say that, you journal and, you do things with intention for yourself, right? I think we have to have that intention. Like, we have to have the intention to do it and then find ways to support that
mm,
intention and stick to it, which can be hard, right? Which comes
mhm.
back to the accountability
Right.
piece. We really do need community, to help us, because it's just less stressful if with the
Mhm.
right community, right? With the right support. Like, you want the right people around you who are going to, like, really encourage you, on your journey, like, at the right times, like, hey, get up and get it done, like,
Mhm.
or,
Mhm.
no, you've been doing too much, you need to, just rest for a moment. Like, you need that right community that can kind of understand you as a person, because, like I said, we're different, right? Type A, type B. Some type A's need to sit down, and then some
Mhm.
type B's need to, you need to put some fire under it and get going.
Right.
So,
That's true.
so, it's just like, you have to find the right community.
Mhm.
And if you're, starting out as a community, do things to get to know each other.
Mhm.
Because you're not going to, we may not have a community yet. So you might have to create one, like we're
Yeah.
doing here, right? So, just taking those steps to get to know one another and finding out, like, what makes us go, what makes us stop. Like, it's just going to take time. Yeah.
And
But if you find
mhm.
the right people, you're not going to mind the time. So,
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And
Mhm.
you are a right people, in my opinion. You're a wife, a mother. I mean, a mother times times a few here, and entrepreneur. So, how do you personally navigate balance? Like, what does your daily, weekly routine, like your wellness routine, look like right now for you?
So let me tell you, first and foremost, I was not the best listener to myself.
Mm,
So just I had to, I guess, fall down a few times before I realized I needed to really listen to my own advice.
mm,
So one of the things that I do, my morning routine is very important to me. Like I'm telling you, like it's so important that if I don't do my morning routine, it kind of throws my day off just a little bit.
mm,
Like I'm like, why am I doing like why isn't things not working out the way I
right.
want? Is
Yeah.
because I didn't do those initial things to take care of myself first. Like I
Mm,
don't jump into the day of helping my family and working. Like I before I would literally wake up, you know, wash up or whatever, and
mm.
then start working.
No.
Turn the computer on, turn it, check
Oh,
emails, like,
no.
why would I do that? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, that didn't really help me. It may have helped the company, in
Mhm,
that moment, but it was really not good for me. And I had developed health challenges that I'm working through right now. And, you know, that was a result of, not listening to my own advice. So,
yeah.
my morning routine is extremely important to me, and that includes prayer, reading scripture or meditating, journaling, doing these things to really keep, just kind of ground myself before I get into the crazy. Because the rest of
Mhm,
the day is going to be crazy. It is going to be what it is. But if you do that for yourself, first thing, I find that the rest of the day just has a way of working itself out.
mhm.
I'm not as wired or
Yeah.
short
Yeah.
tempered
So
when I have that time to myself.
right, and you don't want to get overwhelmed in your day, and um, like what do you do in particular, just for you, when you feel overwhelmed? Because I know you take that mommy. What do you call it? The
The
mommy.
mommy timeout. Oh yes, mommy timeout is my favorite time.
I love
I love.
you. You really light up whenever you talk about. It's like your favorite word. Oh, mommy
I
time.
love. I love mommy timeout. Oh my gosh, because this is the time. Like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just need I can feel my like a pressure cooker. Like
Yeah.
like you feel like if I let it out, it might not be pretty. Okay, it's just not gonna be pretty. So like I'll be like, okay, mommy needs a timeout, and the older kids now they don't care, but like the younger ones, they were like, no, like especially my youngest, he can be very much a mama's boy, so it's like no, like, but I take like 15, 20 minutes to myself,
Yeah.
and I don't do anything. Sometimes I'll listen to music. Sometimes, I'll read a book if I'm watching or if I'm watching a Chinese drama. That's my thing, Chinese dramas.
Okay.
Any Chinese drama watchers out there, K dramas. I'll, watch an episode,
Mhm.
or I do nothing. I just do nothing, or I pray. I do something that I want to do without any interruption, and I
Mhm.
just take 15, 20 minutes to do it. And I find after that, mommy's a lot happier. And that
Yeah.
we all win. Like we all win when I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody wants mommy happy. We're all happy when
Yes,
mommy's happy.
yes. If I'm happy, we're all happy. Because if they're not happy and I'm happy, I can figure out how to make them happy. But if
Right.
they're not happy and I'm not happy,
It's a
you can forget
problem.
it.
The whole
It's a
house is
problem.
going down. So,
Yeah.
moving on to questions about the community and the movement. Um, so you've built more than just a brand. You're building a movement. What does that movement look like? Why is community such a critical part of healing? And what happens when women try to heal in isolation? So,
That's a
yeah.
good question. So community, the way I'm envisioning it is just a safe place. Um, and if I'm cutting in and out, please let me know because I think my internet has been acting wonky. But um, um, community is so important because um, I think when we try to do it on our own, we have good intentions, right? We're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But the thing when you don't involve anybody and nobody knows what your goals are, nobody knows what your plan is, you can kind of like slip back into old habits and there's no accountability there. There's no one there to say, hey, did you do this? Did you do what you said you were going to do? And, before long, you're like back into your old habits. But when you have community and when you have people who are really like cheering you on, in your progress, you don't want to let them down, right? A part of you don't want to let them down. Like you just want to be like, okay, yes, I'm doing this for myself, but I don't want to. This is me, anyways. I don't like disappointing people,
Yeah.
so that can go into it as well. So I envision Happy Life as a safe space for women to come and really support one another in our journeys towards a happier life.
That,
Because our journey.
I'm sorry. You just gave me an aha moment when you were saying between the accountability of not wanting to let people down. A
Hmm.
lot of times we're overwhelmed because we are the people pleaser or we are the one doing everything. So we're used to not letting people down.
Yeah,
We're used to
yeah.
putting ourselves last. But the
But you know
community,
what?
yeah, the community helps you remember you. Like, hey, girl, you said you would, we waiting on that, because that's what I've been feeling with me just trying to build this, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, and I'm like, oh my god,
I'm
like,
ready
wait a
for
minute.
it. Let's go.
So it's like I
I'm
be taking a break,
ready.
like I need a break. When you're stuck doubting and you're like overworked, it is like, oh gosh, Cherelle ain't playing. Okay, okay, let me get it together. That's why it's
Come
like
on,
even
Renee.
even if the community's just you and me, honestly, like it'll be fine. We'll put the resources in there that we're talking about. We're
Hmm.
gonna keep building. Somebody will show up eventually. Like that's where I'm at.
Yep, yep,
We're gonna put
exactly.
somebody, even if it's us over and over again.
But that accountability piece, that person, that goes back to what I'm saying, right? Like you can kind of tell like when somebody needs a break because you do that with me. Like you be like, what are you talking about? Remember I said something about, oh, I'll do this during the winter because I can like sit down and you were like the winter. I just remember the winter. No, you want to do that now. You
I
don't
ain't
wait till the
never
winter.
heard nobody use a time as like the season. I went to I thought you were gonna be like next weekend, the next week, or the break, the winter. Like
Yeah, I said the whole season.
the whole
I
season.
said the next season.
You sound like a bear. You need to write a children's book on this one. I'm like what the heck? I thought
You don't like the winter. No,
you
you're not
got
gonna wait till the
AI and
winter.
all kinds of technology. The winter. You just
Oh, that was so. I did chuckle at that because I was like, and
man.
whenever I feel like I want to procrastinate, I hear your voice saying that, like the winter. Like I still hear it to this day. So I'd be like, okay, let me get this done, and I get stuff done. But it's the next step that I struggle with, right? That next step of,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's where also community is important, right? Because you're going to have moments where you doubt yourself, right? Like you're going to be like, oh, is this right? Is this? And then, you have the right people around you to get your mind like, girl, you can do this. Get it
Yeah,
done.
yeah, I'm waiting on it. Like I need it. Where it at? It's too late. The winter. Okay.
The winter. Oh
I
my
need it
goodness.
now. I need at least a piece. Give me just a sample.
Ever since there, right? Ever since that moment, I was like, okay, Renee gonna get me, so let me do this. And that part, you're right about the people pleasing part. But I'm like, sometimes people pleasing can be a good thing. Not, going crazy, but like not wanting to disappoint or wanting to help, like genuinely wanting to help. Like, you have something good that can support and help someone. You need to get it out there, right? Like, it don't matter if it's, you know, Pulitzer Prize or Nobel Peace Prize worthy. It don't matter. Like, just get it out there, because whoever needs to hear it or see it or read it or be a part of that community, they're going to be a
Mhm.
part of it, just like you just said. So
Yeah.
I agree. But that's what I'm envisioning for Happy Life. It's just a safe space for women who need to, rest and
Mhm.
recover from burnout, or, if they on that road to burnout, to
Yeah.
not go there. Please don't.
Right. It's yeah. It's a dark, exhausting place, and you need your sister circle. You need people that have been there. You need a circle of people pleasers, really, to say, "Hey, you got this," you know. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm excited about this wellness community that we're starting and building, and this is truly just that seed. And I recently heard something where it's like the seed you sow when you're depleted, when you're burnt out, when you're at your bottom, that when you finally start climbing a little bit, and then they start growing.
Hmm.
You water them when you're up, up a little bit. I wish I could remember the quote. I'll try to find it, and then we'll talk about it on another podcast. But that support space is where you can water those seeds a little bit, a little bit at a time, or at least get someone to say, "Hey, what happened to that? Like, come on, girl, you can do it. Get up. We gonna get it together. It's 1% every day." And I used to say that 1% every day. In 100 days, you had 100%. So
Yep.
just put in that
Yep.
one. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it on this strong legacy question. If you're able to answer, what do you want your work to mean for the next generation of Black women?
Hmm. What I envision is to build like the foundation of what it looks like to make ourselves a priority without apology. Like, really, like, make that a part of our life where we're just not talking about it. It's We're actually doing it. And then the next generation will continue to build on that, where
Mm-hmm.
we don't make it's just not even a question. Like,
Yeah.
why are we even having this conversation? Like, if I can, like, not talk about us having burnout anymore, that would be great.
Right.
I can talk about something. Listen, it's a million topics we can talk about, but I see this as such a problem in our community. And what people don't realize is the impact stress has on our bodies,
Mm.
and the consequences that it can have on our bodies. It's can be detrimental,
Yeah.
because your body is not getting everything it needs to process and do what it needs to do in a way that can keep us healthy. Like, our immune system can get compromised, our hearts can get compromised, our pancreas can get it's like,
Mhm.
it's on a biological level as well. Like, we cannot just sit back and be like, oh, I'll rest when I hate that saying, I'll rest or sleep when I'm dead. Like, why would that even be something that you would, a goal of yours? Like, no, like, rest now, do more. You know how
Right.
much you can do when you're rested and you're whole and you're happy and I just want our mindset to just change around that, because I mean, we're not, honestly, our families, they love us, but they're not always going to think about that for us. Like, we have to put our foot down and
Mm.
really be like, no, like, I'm going to rest. Like, I had to tell that to my family. I'm taking
Right.
a time out. Like, I have to have this time out, because if I don't, I'm just not going to be any good for the rest of the day.
Right.
Developing headaches, migraines. How many of our friends suffer from migraines on a day because, whatever is going on in our bodies is lacking something,
Mm.
right? So I just want this conversation, this to become a norm of not just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of myself," self care, or whatever other terminologies we use, but actually, it's part of our routine.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about something else.
Right.
How do we become billionaires? Like, like, let's
Yes,
talk about something else. Like,
girl.
let's not keep talking about like how come I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
This just like I'm not gonna get too technical, but just the rate of like diseases and illnesses that impact us versus other groups, like cancer rates and the mortality rates from cancer and all the stuff that we deal with within our community because we're stressed. The stress hormones, the cortisol, all that stuff that's happening to you biologically is not going to support healing. So that's why I'm saying, like, you have to make this a priority. Like, you cannot just pretend that you're going to be okay if you get a couple hours of sleep. Listen, like, when you're burnt out, a night of sleep is not going to help you.
Yeah.
It'll give you maybe a moment of energy, but
Mm-hmm.
by the next day and the end of the next day, you're gonna be tired all over again. So this is it's just a priority. Like, we
Yeah.
gotta stop just kicking the can down the road and saying you're gonna do it, and then keep doing the things that are not good for us. So
Yes. 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 This conversation right here. This is everyone's reminder that no one's behind. You're not broken. You're just overdue for some care and rest and a reassessment and to take a self audit. And yes, I just want to thank you. Thank you, Cherelle
thank
Jeudy.
you, thank
Thank
you.
you for not only sharing your story, but for creating a pathway for so many women to heal, reset, and reclaim their selves. So thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you. If this episode spoke to you, don't just listen, take action. Join the Black Expertise community where we're building real spaces for growth, wellness, and ownership. And if you know a woman who's been carrying too much for too long, send this episode to her because healing is power, but healing in community, that's transformational. I'll see you in the next episode.